Hello everybody. On June 2nd we've got a lovely full moon at 11 degrees of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, is the planet of expansion, of opportunity, of some good things coming into your life. Now Sagittarius is the higher mind. So we've got 3 planets at the time of this full moon in Gemini, which is the lower mind. So Gemini, we've got the Sun, we've got Mercury still retrograde, and Mars in Gemini, and this full moon, the moon in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the higher mind. So Gemini is about everything that's in my life, my stuff, my friends, my money, my job, my work. And Sagittarius is all about the higher mind. It's academia, it's universities, it's the higher level. So to get to a higher level, it's great to come to a place where you can have a view, which is why I've come today to the Lycabettas Hill in Athens. It's blooming hot, I must say, but gorgeous to get the view and to see life from a different perspective. I mean, quite honestly, I had no idea until now how big Athens is. When you get up above, you can see the vista, the view. So this full moon is an opportunity for you to get out of all the small stuff. I mean, you're still going to be involved with all the stuff because we have to deal with our everyday lives, but also to have a different perspective, a different view. Sagittarius rules your views, your spiritual view of life. Sagittarius also rules religion. And at the same time during this full moon, we've got Neptune square to the Sun and Moon. So Neptune in Pisces is all about trusting your intuition. And then we've got all this mind energy going on with the Gemini and the Sagittarius energy. So it's a very mutable time, lots of changeability, wonderful time to go on a spontaneous trip somewhere, to go somewhere you've never been to before, even if it's a new restaurant, even if it's a new direction to work one day, but to do something different, to give your mind new synapses to join up in your brain, to give you something new to look forward to. Something Sagittarius looks to the future. What have you got to look forward to? What are you looking forward to in your life? This is the perspective here of this full moon in Sagittarius. It's also important not to take things too personally. I have a tendency sometimes, especially with all the Gemini energy going on, you know, this and that, little bit gossipy energy. The full moon is giving you an opportunity just to rise above all that stuff. So if somebody's offended you, upset you, just know that for the most part it's their stuff and not your stuff. So you may get into some interesting discussions at this time. Certainly happened for me. I was going just for some routine blood tests in the hospital in England and got chatting to a very nice lady, very friendly, and she came and sat next to me while we were queuing up. And then she asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm a professional astrologer." And at that point she distinctly became rather cool. Her friendly attitude cooled. But next to her, on the other side of her, another lady pipes up and says, "Oh, I've been studying astrology for 40 years. How nice to meet another astrologer." So in between us was sitting this lady, very churchy lady, who was told before she adopted all the church stuff about 14 years ago, she shared with us, had been told not to be involved with astrology or anything of this kind of a nature. So I can tell you a very rich and lively discussion ensued. But how interesting it is how somebody just cools off when you've told them something about you and suddenly the energy changes. So how can we rise above that? How can we rise above these judgments? This is what this full moon is about. Rising above the separation, the competition. How can we work together? How can we be inclusive of one another's beliefs? Job. I mean, I love what I do, and maybe some people don't like that, but it shouldn't really turn you off from a person as to what job they do. And of course, we do have Mercury retrograde still until June 11th, and usual things apply, especially with it being in Gemini. I will be quite careful about emails. I'd be careful with the reply to all button on the email, because if it's something private, you might not want to have everybody look at it. So read the small print. I had a little test of that already at the bank yesterday. I queued up in the bank for nearly an hour to pay the water bill, and when I got to the end of the queue and got to the teller, she looked at the bill and she was quite bemused. She said, well, it's a zero balance. And of course, Mercury retro, I hadn't realised that I'd paid that bill last month. So I wish you a wonderful full moon in Sagittarius. Try to find a perspective for the future that excites you, that makes you feel good, and get out of living in the weeds and the stuff around you and give yourself a new perspective. So from here, the Lycabettus Hill here in Athena, I'll say goodbye to you, adiosas. Until the next time, Thata Pume.